Hey guys, what's going on? This is Alex over here at My Freedom Smokes, and well, it's the end of the year and it's time for us to kind of take a look back at all the different starter kits, tanks, and liquids we've gotten in the past year and kind of break them down for you, tell you what our favorites were. In this video, we're going to be talking about MTL tanks. Now, a quick bit of information on what that means. There's really two types of tanks on the market. You have your sub-ohm tanks and your MTL, which is mouth-to-lung tanks. Your sub-ohm tanks are going to be the ones that have like super low resistances, massive airflow. It kind of just feels like you're taking a deep breath and then you exhale and it's a bunch of vapor. Those are the ones that you see like in competitions also, where people just go and blow out a whole bunch of clouds. A mouth-to-lung one is kind of like what you'd expect. You kind of pull it into your mouth and then into your lungs, kind of like a traditional cigarette. It's actually my favorite kind of tank and kind of works like this. It's good for just a quick little puff of vapor without being, too loud and out there, while still being able to get the higher nicotine doses that you wouldn't be able to get with a sub-ohm tank. So we're just going to kind of break down for you kind of our top 5 best sellers of the year. And first, we're going to check out the Nautilus II. Now, the Nautilus II was probably my favorite tank for the longest time, especially starting out the year. The reason I really like this one is it's small frame. That way, if I did put this on a mod, it wouldn't overlap much. But the cool thing about it is not only does it use its own new branded lower resistance and Clapton coils, they are sized exactly the same as your original Nautilus coils, which means you do have the availability to use the first gen Nautilus 0.6 and 1.8 coils in this tank, which is really great because essentially they're just giving you a new design of the tank that way, because I'm sure you may have broken the glass on the other one, it's just gotten all scratched up, it's time for something new. So they've really updated the design, kept the coils that you know and love, and added a few extra features. So for it coming down to a good, user-friendly, mouth-to-lung tank that is going to be easy to get replacement parts for, definitely the Nautilus II. Next up on the list is another Nautilus, and it's the Nautilus X. Now, this one is going to be a little bit smaller in frame than the 2, but it does take different coils. These coils are going to be rated a little bit lower, but we do have higher resistance ones. Now you may be asking, well, if it's a low resistance, how is it a mouth-to-lung hit? Well, again, it really comes down to your airflow, and this has a very tight airflow. So what they're really aiming to do here is provide you with a lower resistance, a tighter airflow, which in turn is going to make you turn down your wattage a little bit, and it's really going to come through with your flavor. So if you're really looking for a good mouth-to-lung, something that's full of flavor and is going to work well for you in that regard, definitely check out the Nautilus X. Aspire really hasn't been letting anyone down with their tanks lately, and I think that should show that 2 of the 5 of our top 5 here is a Nautilus tank. Next up on the list is a relatively new one that we've gotten in, or at least we started getting in some new colors, and it's the Spirals tank. This is from Smoke, and they've actually been pairing this up with a lot of their starter kits lately. It's a really nice, simple, easy to use tank. It's got better airflow in it than some of the other mouth-to-lung tanks out there. And this is a 0.3 ohm coil, so again, they're kind of going for the same thing of lower wattage, more flavor, but you do have the cool option of cranking that airflow open a little bit more and bumping up that wattage, and you can get a bit more cloud out of this than you could probably any of the others. So I think that's one of the reasons that this definitely deserves to be on this list, for the simple fact that it's still not a cloud chasing tank, but you do have the availability to, push out a little bit more than you typically would. Now these last 2 on here do not rely on replacement coils or anything like that, so you actually build the resistance you like. These are going to be mouth-to-lung tanks that are rebuildable. A lot of people do prefer a rebuildable tank when it comes to mouth to lung because they're able to really personalize the way everything's wrapped. There's a couple different wrappings out there that people will put their thicker wire and then wrap smaller wire around that, then build a coil. And that way it provides even greater flavor. You've got a really nice build deck here. Very easy to use. Everything's kind of just right up there in Front Street. It does come with everything you're going to need. An additional tube with extender glass. That way you can make it hold a little bit more liquid if you like. As I mentioned earlier, one of the pluses about this is your airflow. The airflow is not wide on this at all. You've got that tiny little notch right there. So this really is going to be a mouth to lung tank. You're not going to be able to push a whole lot of clouds with this specific one. And last one on the list is the Siren Rebuildable. This one's also a cool one, and we've got it in 2 different sizes. Go ahead and take out the build deck here. Now with this one, your build deck is definitely larger. And you do have the ability to put probably a lower resistance coil in this like you do the spirals because of your airflow. You can see the airflow is right here, so you actually can get a good amount of air to hit those coils on the way out. Just one other thing to mention about this one though is you're still going to want to keep that resistance pretty high and keep it a mouth to lung because your drip tip really doesn't allow for that much airflow. Sure, a lot could come through the actual thing here, but if you had a chuff cap, it would work a little better. This is going to be like sucking through about the diameter of a straw, so you can't expect to get a whole lot of air passing through at one time. So again, none of these are really meant to push a lot of clouds, but for MTL vapors, we love these because we enjoy our flavor and we enjoy the satisfaction we get from vaping. So if you are very similar to me and many other folks, definitely check out these tanks. I don't think you're going to be disappointed. So from all of us here at My Freedom Smokes, we hope everyone has a happy new year, and we'll see you next time.